Hey guys, it's Leanne. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is all about what's new at the drugstore. Well, my local drugstore anyway. Some of the products I'm not sure if they're actually like universally new or they're just new to my drugstore, but obviously if I'm wrong, just correct me in the comments. So some of the products today that I'm going to be talking about, I'll just show you now. So the new Maybelline Superstay Activewear 30-Hour Foundation. Now, I was so excited to try this because I literally love the original one, which has now been improved to this version. So yeah, I also include a wear test in this tutorial / review, so keep watching for that. I've also picked up the e.l.f. Bite Size Face Duo. Now, my shade is Guava, and this was like actual mind-blowing. Also as well, I've picked up the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, and this is in the shade Stone. Now this was a new shade, so I'm not sure if the gloss is new, but I've never actually seen the gloss in the Maybelline section before. So I picked one of these up, but the shade is new anyway, it's a new shade, so Stone is a new shade, which is what I've currently got on the lips now. Another product that I picked up is the Makeup Revolution Eye Bright Illuminating Under Eye Concealer with vitamin C, and it's in the shade Fair. So if you want to know what that's like, keep on watching. And the last two products that I picked up is the e.l.f. Putty Blush. So I picked up the shade Bahamas, and how gorgeous is that colour? So peachy and orangey, love it. And last but not least, I picked up the Makeup Revolution. No. And last but not least for this tutorial, I picked up the Real Techniques Custom Complexion Brush for the face. So I do explain what's so good about this brush in the video and why it's so unique. So if you want to find out my opinion on those products just mentioned, then please keep on watching, and don't forget to subscribe while you're here and turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my weekly honest makeup tutorials and honest makeup reviews. Please give this video a like, and also let's have a little chat in the comments about some of the products. Have you tried any of these products, and what do you think? Would you recommend what I would not recommend, or vice versa? Let me know. And yeah, I'll just stop talking now. But anyway, I hope that everyone enjoys and actually learns. So to apply some of these new products from the drugstore, I'm also going to be going in with a new drugstore brush, which I've never seen anything like this before. Maybe I could be wrong, maybe another brand have actually done something like this, but I think it's so unique and such a good idea in terms of saving money and being a versatile product. So the product is the Real Techniques Custom Complexion Face Brush, and this is for foundation and concealer. So this is what the packaging looks like. Just turn the lighting down a little bit. So this is what the packaging looks like, and on the back, as you can see, it's got 3 different settings. So here there's a maximum, medium and minimum, and you can just push this up. So when it's on maximum, that gives you a more denser brush, and then when you put it up to mid, sorry, not medium, when you put it up to mid, it goes a little bit less dense, and then when you put it up to minimum, it goes fully like a really soft fluffy brush, and the bristles expand. So I'll just show you from this angle. So that's mid, and then that's maximum. So maximum, mid, minimum. So I'm actually going to be reviewing this today and seeing if it actually does make a difference on the foundation. So on one side, I'm going to be using the maximum brush setting, so that should give me a more fuller coverage, and then I'm going to use the minimum on the other side of the face. However, I am actually using a full coverage foundation, so maybe both sides will still be quite full coverage, but surely this should make a difference. So yeah, this brush was £10.99, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've seen it in any other brand. I think it is quite a new product, quite a new concept as well, but I think it's brilliant anyway. And yeah, I actually do love how the brush looks, this type of rose gold peachy colour with a bit of a sheen. So it looks quite sleek. I feel like it's worth the £10.99 because you've literally got a brush that does the hard work for you. So this would be so good for the beginner, I think. I'm saying all this before I've even tried it, by the way, but in theory, this should be good for the beginner because it's literally does the hard work for you. So if you want a less full coverage, you go for the minimum. If you want a medium coverage, you go for the mid setting. And if you want a maximum full coverage, you go for the maximum setting. The foundation that I'm going to be going in with is the Maybelline Superstay Activewear 30-Hour Foundation. Now, this is in the shade Soft Bronze, which is number 34. The Maybelline Superstay Activewear 30-Hour Foundation is just basically a new and improved version of the original Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Full Coverage Foundation. Both bottles contain 30ml. The newer bottle is slightly bigger, but it's literally just the lid, I think, is like a little bit bigger. Not much difference. This one is more of a matte lid, and this one is a shiny lid. But yeah, I'm going to be reviewing this today and seeing if it's actually any improvement on the original. Now, if you do watch this channel regularly, you will know that I love this foundation. I swear by it. It's literally one of my drugstore favourites. So I've got high hopes for this one. But I'm also going to be doing another video comparing these two side by side. So on one half of the face, I'm going to be doing the original, and on the other half of the face, I'm going to be doing the new and improved. So that's probably going to be one of my next videos coming soon. But for today, I'm going to go in with this. So I've already put one pump on my little plastic palette, so I'm just going to add another 2 pumps now. So rather than go in with the brush, I'm just going to dab it onto the skin at first. But I haven't actually applied any primer today. That's just because I just want to really give this a good wear test and see how it is without primer, see what it can do without a primer. So this is the maximum side, but it just looks a bit too short for me. Like, that just seems like it's not going to do much. But let's see. Okay, so straight away that is a really, really nice coverage. This brush is a little bit weird, does feel a little bit weird to work with, not gonna lie. Not necessarily bad, but just a little bit strange because, like I said, the brush is just like so dense, and yeah, just seems a little bit weird. But it is giving me a lovely coverage. So just dab a little bit more on the forehead. And you can see straight away how red this side is that's got no foundation on compared to this side. So straight away it's definitely taken away quite a bit of redness from the skin. As you can see on this side, I've got quite a few red blemishes. So I really probably should have done the maximum coverage on this side, but so as you see, I applied 3 pumps, as I explained, to the little plastic palette, and I've still got quite a bit of foundation left. So just from a little bit of foundation, it has actually given me a really nice full coverage, I would say. I'm going to go in on the other side, obviously changing the setting now to minimum. And I'm just going to be doing the same to this side, just dabbing the foundation on with. And then this is probably going to feel a lot more easier to work with because it's more like the normal size of a normal brush. Definitely easier to work with and quicker when you're using the minimum setting. So that is just off one layer. Wow. I know you can still see these blemishes, but I do think that that's done quite a good job. You can still see them, but I feel like the redness has been taken away, even with the brush, on the minimum coverage setting. So far, I think both sides look quite full coverage, despite obviously this side was used with the minimum. So up to now, the foundation's definitely just as good as the original foundation. Really, I'm not really noticing a difference in coverage. That could be because, as I explained before, this is a full coverage foundation. So maybe this brush is not really making that much of a difference because the foundation is so much full coverage. The next product that I picked up at the drugstore, and I think that this is new, it's definitely new to me, I've not seen this before. It's the Makeup Revolution Eye Bright Illuminating Under Eye Concealer with vitamin C, and mine is in the shade Fair. Now, the only thing I've noticed is, the other day, I literally was like, took off the lid, and it's one of those where you twist it, and then the product comes out to the applicator in the top. So basically, I've done that, I've twisted it about 10 times or something, so the tip has obviously got concealer on, and I applied 2 little swipes under the eyes, and I literally wiped it off. I just wanted to see if the colour was the right colour for me, but I'm just going to dim the light and show you that, like, basically see here where the product is. Already the product's like, literally I don't think you get much, so already here you can see that the product is like getting used up quite quickly. Now you do only get 3 mils in this, but still I'm quite shocked that I've only literally gave it about 10 twists, got a little bit of the product on the tip and had 2 swipes of concealer, and already you can actually notice that the product's actually going down and emptying. So I'm not very impressed with that at all, but yeah, I just wanted to show you that. So yeah, I'm not using any colour correction, I'm just going to be going in with this concealer now. And it feels quite a dewy concealer, feels quite lightweight really. Now on the packaging of this brush, it also says that it's for foundation and concealer, so I might actually try and use this for the concealer as well today, might as well. So I might use the mid setting now, so as you can see I've got it on the mid setting, which that actually feels really easy to use as well. And it is blending away quite nice really. And because we've actually used this brush with foundation, and obviously there'll still be some leftover foundation on the bristles, that will help to blend the concealer in and not leave it looking so harsh on the skin, because it's blending with the colour that's already on your face, the foundation colour. For the under eye concealer, I do want to use the maximum setting, because obviously I definitely want and need maximum coverage under the eyes. And this is actually looking like quite a radiant under eye concealer, and I do like this for a daytime look really. It's not as matte as I would normally go for, but I do think it looks like very dewy and refreshing on the skin. To set the under eyes with a powder, I'm going to be going in with something that is not a new powder, but I'm just going to share it anyway because it is literally one of my favourite products. So this is the Makeup Revolution Lace Luxury Baking Powder. Now this powder has a pink undertone, which is really good at cancelling out a blue undertone, like as in under eye bags. So I really do notice a difference when I use this powder underneath my eyes. So I'm hoping it's going to work today with this concealer, because this is also by Makeup Revolution. So let's see how these two pair together. And I am actually going to be using the brush to apply the powder under the eyes. But first I'm going to go in and just make sure that there's no creases in the concealer, which there is. Not very noticeable, but definitely see a little bit of creaking under the eyes. So I'm going to be using the mid setting for the powder, and I'm just literally going to be taking the bristles and dipping a little bit, tapping off any excess, and then I'm just going to be very gently pressing this into the under eye. And yes, that really does look so radiant. I really do so far love how this concealer is really brightening. It is actually doing what it says on the tin, and I'd say it's very close to full coverage despite being an illuminating concealer. I'm actually really impressed with this. I do feel like I look so wide awake now compared to, like, obviously before I put this on. It's literally the most awake I've looked in like any of my tutorials, I feel. So now I'm going to be going in with a little bit of contour, but I'm not going to be showing you what contour I'm using because basically it's not a new product, so, and I just want to keep the video mainly focused on new products. Yeah, I've just done a little bit of bronzer, only a very light dusting just off camera, so as you can see that's applied now. So the next new product that I picked up from the drugstore was from e.l.f. Cosmetics. Now this is the Putty Blush, and I chose the shade Bahamas just for a change because the other cream blush that I have from e.l.f. is in the shade Dazzle and Peony, which is a very baby light pink, and I just wanted something a little bit different. So I think this product is new. It's definitely new to my local drugstore anyway, so I'm sorry if it's not new, but it's literally the first time I've seen this in the drugstore, so according to me it's new. So basically the directions to use the Putty Blush You can apply it with clean fingers and gently pat it over the apples of your cheeks. Continue patting for a smooth, seamless blend. I'd really like to not set this blush today, but I've also picked up a powder blush from e.l.f. and this is the new Bite Size Face Duo. So this is a blush and this is a highlight, and my shade is Guava. Yeah, this is also a very apricot-y peach. I'll just swatch that. So as you can see, it's probably going to go very well. This is the highlight, which is a very gold highlight, which I like. That's why I chose this shade. And these were literally, I think, £3 or £4. So I love that it's in a little round pot. It's just such a good size. And I am excited to try this product. So it doesn't actually smell of anything. And by the way, neither does the foundation, which I didn't mention. But yeah, this foundation doesn't have a smell, which I like, again, because some smells in makeup can be so overwhelming. The concealer, also, yeah, that doesn't have a smell. This is going to be weird because I don't really apply anything with fingers apart from primer. Just going to be tapping this in on the apples of the cheeks. So yeah, it does really give a nice flush of colour. Now, it's not as pigmented as the Mama Mitchell blushes, liquid blushes, or blush as he calls them, but it is a nice pigment that you can probably build up, which I'm going to test now. And I'm taking that blush right back to the hairline just to make it look a bit more natural, rather than just have it on the apples of the cheeks and look like a big round circle of colour. I'm actually just tapping this back in to the hairline for a more natural effect. So yeah, that is actually quite a nice blush, and to me it looks very dewy. Looks like a very dewy blush. I wouldn't really normally like to set this blush, as I like to give things a chance to see how they develop. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set one side. So I'm actually going to be taking this brush again, and I'm going to be going on the... Okay, so I've just pushed the little clicker up and it's completely fell off. So that's my review of this brush. Obviously not very good quality now. Oh. However, I suppose this is my little spot picker, by the way, and I suppose I could just use this to take the bristles up and down. It's not convenient, and I am disappointed that that just totally pinged off, but I'm just going to make it work for the rest of the tutorial because I can't actually find the little button. I don't know where it's gone. I didn't hear it drop, so it must have landed on the bed, but here we are. So yeah, I'm actually going to be using the minimum setting on this brush, as blusher brushes are mostly like this. They're quite fluffy and more of a bigger bristle brush. So I'm just going to be seeing, I know it doesn't say for blush, I know that this brush is marketed towards foundation and concealer, but I'm just going to try it anyway and see. So yeah, I'm using the minimum setting, and I'm also going to be just setting one side of the face. That's going to be this side. Well, when I say setting, I mean setting the cream blush with powder blush. And those colours are literally a perfect match. To me, it literally looks, I would say, a little bit more pigmented on this side, but still pretty similar. And that blush is blending really nicely onto the skin. It's not going patchy, even though it's over a cream blush, it's actually not going patchy. I'm going to be leaving the other side just as it is and not setting the cream blush, because I just want to see how it wears throughout the day and see if it actually lasts. So I am going to be checking in later. So I'm going to be taking the highlight from the e.l.f. Bite Size Face Duo. So it does actually look really nice and pigmented. So I'm just going to be applying this with an eyeshadow brush. And it does seem like quite a blinding highlight, doesn't it? Like, look at that on my lips. It does really seem like a very dewy, gives a very dewy, glowy look to the skin. And for £3 or £4, wow. A blusher and a highlight, and the highlight is this much of good quality. Like, such highly pigmented, I can't believe it. Now, one thing I will say, which I'm not complaining about at all, it's just a side note basically. So as I'm tapping into the highlighter pan, there's a lot of fallout. Well, not a lot, it's a very fine powder, but there's quite a bit of fallout, so that's just something I wanted to mention. definitely be built up as well to be even more blinding. So I'm just going to be going in now and lining the lips, but this is not a new pencil or anything, but I do have a new lip product, so I'm just going to be lining the lips and then I'm going to be talking about the new lip product that I picked up. If anyone's interested, I am lining the lips with the Morphe Bite Me pencil. So the new product that I picked up from the drugstore is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, and this has got hyaluronic acid in, and I picked up the shade number 8 Stone. So this is a new shade in this range. I'm not sure how new the Maybelline gloss is, but I've never actually seen this lifter gloss before. Like, look at that packaging, how sleek is the packaging, and it just reminds me of Kim Kardashian West's KKW beauty packaging. It's just got like a nude aesthetic, and I love all the clear that you can just see inside the product. So yeah, the packaging really attracted me, and like I said, on the label in the shop it said that this is a new shade, so I'm going to give it a try. I'm not sure what that scent is, but it does smell really, really nice. Vanilla, that's what it smells of, vanilla. So yeah, which is one of my favourite scents. It does actually have quite a bit of colour. It's not just like a clear gloss. It does actually have quite a bit of pigment. It's quite a reflective gloss, not as reflective as the Fenty Gloss Bomb, but it still is quite a reflective gloss. So yeah, these were the new products, and obviously I've been as honest as possible. I even left in the part where this just like flicked off, which was embarrassing. So yeah, please excuse the rollers, but I'm just wanting to talk about now what I would recommend from the new products that I tried today and what I wouldn't actually recommend. The foundation, up to now, I really do recommend the foundation. I think the coverage is fantastic, and I think, as you've seen, it's taken away a lot of redness out of my skin. I didn't use a primer, and normally I would use a primer, like a pore filling primer, and even my pores are looking as like I have used a pore filling primer. So far I'm quite impressed. Here you can still see some of the blemishes, but the coloration, like the redness, has been taken out of them thanks to the coverage of this foundation. But I also wanted to add that I've just been to the bathroom and I was just looking over the skin in a different light to my, obviously, ring light and daylight, and I've noticed that the foundation is patchy on both sides of the face. Now, I think that's because of the way I've used the brush today and not went over with a beauty blender like I normally would. So I don't know if anyone can see here, it's like not blended in, and then here as well, it's like a mark here, and then under here it kind of looks like dirt a little bit. I don't know if this is like showing up, but here it's definitely going a little bit like clumping in certain areas. You can obviously see that one quite noticeable, and it looks quite grey for some weird reason, but yeah, you can see it there, you can see it there. So yeah, I'm not very happy with that. Yeah, I don't know that the brush is ideal for anyone who just wants to use a brush to apply foundation. For me personally, I think you definitely need to go over with a beauty blender to make the foundation as flawless as possible. Yeah, moving on to the brush now. Even though you're seeing that the button totally pinged off, I'm still able to use it. I don't know that it actually does what it said on the tin, like, because in my opinion I do not see any difference in terms of coverage from the maximum side to the minimum side at all. But to me, the brush does not actually meet its objective of being like able to give a maximum coverage on one hand and then a minimum on the other, because to me it just looks the same. So I would recommend the brush because, as you've seen, I actually apply blusher, foundation and concealer with this brush, so it is quite a multitasking product, and I think it is quite cool really to have a brush like this with the settings on. It was £11 and I do think that it's worth it. Yeah, not sure. What do you think of this brush? Let me know in the comment section. Probably the two standout products from today are the e.l.f. Bite Size Face Duo. Now, as you can see on this side, I set the cream Putty Blush, and literally I just love how pigmented and how smooth this side looks, and I would actually really recommend this, not just for the blush but especially probably for the highlight. As you can see, it's quite a flattering glow, but it's still blinding, but it still can be soft at the same time. Now, I find that not many highlighters can do all those things in one. You either get a blinding highlighter that can look really harsh and not really melt into the skin, or you can get a blinding highlight like this one that is capable of also melting into the skin. So for this alone, I definitely recommend it, even for the highlight or the brush, or the blush, sorry. But the fact that you get both is just like amazing for £3 or £4. So I'm definitely obsessed with this, and I'm definitely going to go back and pick up a few more shades in this. Now, as you can probably tell, I loved the Eye Bright Illuminating Under Eye Concealer from Revolution. This, I was quite shocked by how good the coverage is, in my opinion, bearing in mind I didn't actually use any colour correcting concealer. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the coverage of this, really. I love how bright it is, and I definitely picked this up again in other shades. Yeah, under the eyes to me looks absolutely flawless. There's a little bit of creasing just under here, literally just under the lash line. Not much at all, nothing more than I noticed with my other concealers. But yeah, that's just something to point out, but it's nothing that puts me off, so that gets a big thumbs up from me. Now, the other two products that I tried, which I would not recommend, not that they're particularly bad, but I just feel like there's other products that do the same job but better. That's obviously the e.l.f. Putty Blush. Yeah, if you see my other Mitchell video where I tried out his liquid blush, they are so pigmented that it's just hard to get over. That, like, other blushes just kind of, other liquid / cream blushes, they're probably just not going to compare, because nothing I've ever tried has been as pigmented as Mitchell's blushes. So this, to me, it's a nice formula. As much as I thought the shade was going to be really nice, it is a nice shade, but really, on the side that I didn't set, I feel like you can't really tell that I've got a cream blush on. So for me, this side, I don't know if you notice if it's faded or if it's just melted into the skin and it doesn't really stay very pigmented, but this for me is not something that I would recommend. It was £6, and I know that that is inexpensive, but to me, I got the Mitchell blushes for £8 each in the sale. He had a sale on 40% off or something. And yeah, to me, the Mitchell blushes just like blow this out of the water. Oh. But yeah, sorry e.l.f. I love e.l.f. as a brand, but this for me, I don't recommend it. Because of just, you can't even tell I've got it on. Literally could not even tell. Yeah, so that's a no from me. It's not a bad product, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it or rave about it. So the last product now, obviously, that I would not recommend is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss. I think this was £8 or £8.99, which for a drugstore gloss, that's expensive when you compare e.l.f. does lip glosses for £3. So it's not expensive, but in comparison to some of the glosses you can get, and if you buy from Complexion, they do lip glosses for like £2. I've just had some dinner and I've had a drink, and it's literally worn off the bottom lip, like completely. All that's left on the bottom lip is the lip liner. So that is just like not ideal at all. Yeah. It stayed more on the top lip, as you can see, but on the bottom it's completely come off, and that to me is just not ideal if you're going to be going out eating. I'm only eating in the house, obviously, but it's still not the point. For £9, I'm not really impressed, and I feel like I could get this gloss in a very similar shade from another drugstore brand, and obviously it doesn't last at all. It literally has not lasted at all. So for me, I wouldn't really recommend this. It's not a high quality performing product for me anyway. But yeah, that was my review. Now, like I said, I am going to be checking in and letting you see how the foundation's worn throughout the day without a primer. So I will be seeing you very soon. But for now, I'm just going to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope that everyone found this video useful. If you don't mind, while you're here, please give this video a like, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are looking for honest makeup reviews and very informative makeup tutorials, then hit that notification bell and subscribe button. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me today and staying around till the end. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in a minute for the foundation check-in. But apart from that, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Hey guys, so I'm just checking back in now, as I said that I would. This foundation was applied this morning at 11:30, and it's now 10:30 in the evening, so that's a full 11 hours. So even though I'm not under my ring light at home, I just want to show you in still quite a bright light how the foundation looks. So as I explained earlier, it was definitely a little bit patchy under here and on this side too. Now you can see that these blemishes are still kind of covered, but have definitely peeked through a little bit more compared to earlier on. On the forehead, I feel like it's definitely came off. You can see here some blemishes, and here, obviously here too. But I'm more bothered about the coverage not lasting on the chin, which is very red now, and the tip of the nose. So this foundation is obviously promoted as 30-hour wear, but I personally don't feel that it is on my first impression. However, you know that it didn't use primer, so obviously I feel like if it did use primer, it might have a bit of a better chance of lasting. But yeah, on the chin is really bad, and this blemish right there, the foundation's caked to it, and it hasn't come off, but it's pretty much came off everywhere else on the chin apart from to this blemish. Not like super impressed with how the skin's looking. I wouldn't really feel confident to use this foundation in the future without a primer. I'd definitely require a primer. So yeah, I'm going to be reviewing this foundation again, and I'm actually going to be using a primer, and I'm going to be doing the foundation my normal technique, so a brush and then a beauty sponge on top. But I actually would recommend the foundation for the coverage, and obviously if I used it in the way that I normally would, as I've just explained, then I feel like I could give a better review. So watch out for that on my YouTube channel. But before I go, I just want to add that Maybelline does test on animals, so that's obviously not something I like to promote or really buy into. But yeah, they do test on animals for anyone who wants to make a bit of a more ethical choice. But yeah, this is how the skin looks 11 hours later. So not ideal for a 30-hour wear foundation. God knows what this would look like in 30 hours. I don't even want to think about that. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Apart from my little update, I just want to say thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me till the end of the video. Thank you so much, and please don't forget to like this video, leave me a comment and subscribe while you're here. You might as well, because it's free, why not? And also hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my weekly uploads. But yeah, I'll see you in the next tutorial.